Before this video begins, I just wanted to say that I actually went out and managed to get the flu just so I could get super immersed in the Left 4 Dead Green Flu lore. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the Spitter and all of the cool little quirks and features that make the Spitter so formidable in the Left 4 Dead game. But before we do begin the topic of today's video, I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you for all the support over the last couple weeks. It's really been absolutely incredible, and as of recording, I actually have not posted a video in about 12 days, and I just want to say thank you so much for the patience. I decided again to literally go out and get the flu because that's just how I'm built, and I'm still going to attempt to get this video done just so you guys know that I am still alive. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. We've finally made it to the second to last of the Special Infected in Left 4 Dead 2. The 2’s Special Infected.
Excuse me, miss. What's the best? Move in bed.
Or the Spitter, is one of the more useful and highly strategic Special Infected in the Left 4 Dead franchise. Her inclusion in Left 4 Dead 2 was legitimately just to stop camping, which was prevalent in the first game. But that would be a boring video, so I want to go a little deeper into her lore and her creation as a character. The Spitter is a fairly tall female, usually adorned with pigtails and incredibly scarce undergarments. Oftentimes, she's actually wearing a pink thong, not that it matters, I just thought it was important to note because whatever. The skin on her face and mouth has seemingly melted away, most likely as a result of the large amount of acidic liquid dripping out of her elongated neck. The Spitter's skin glows a vibrant green when she is alive, but when she's killed, her skin becomes a normal pink color, and this could be due to the acid in her body being instantly released when she's killed. The Spitter's mutation has given her the ability to launch a deadly ball of corrosive acid from her mouth, arcing through the air before splattering across the nearest solid surface. Once it lands, the acid spreads into a wide pool, growing more dangerous the longer someone stands in it. The way she spits actually suggests that the acid might be encased in a thin membrane or bolus inside her throat, which either dissolves or bursts on impact. The infection has also severely deformed her body, likely causing a condition known as mega-esophagus, or even the complete erosion of her neck organs due to constant acid exposure. This could explain her ragged, gurgling breaths. I mean, she may have acid in her lungs. Similar to other bile-oriented infected, she seems unable to control the production of her acid, meaning she has to spit it out constantly or risk her body rupturing, much like the boomer with its bile. Her face has been eaten away by her own acid as well, with her lower jaw, lips, nose, and cheeks all visibly eroded. The damage isn't just limited to her face. There are red sores on her chest and stomach, and these both suggest that acid drips down from her mouth, burning through her skin. Her body is unnaturally stretched and misshapen, with sagging breasts, a distended belly, and an elongated neck, likely adaptations to help store and expel the acid. The long neck might also give her better range and velocity when spitting. Her skin hangs loosely, and her awkward stumbling movements suggest that either the virus or the acid itself has eaten away at her connective tissue. Her right foot is especially deformed, with the big toe actually shifting to the side almost like a thumb. As she moves, a thin trail of acid drips from her mouth, briefly marking her path before evaporating. While her fingernails are long, they aren't particularly sharp, dealing melee damage that varies by difficulty. On easy it does 4 damage, 5 on normal, 6 on advanced, and 8 on expert. The Spitter is one of the most effective area denial special infected in Left 4 Dead 2. Unlike the Charger or Hunter, who are focused on direct damage and control, the Spitter punishes survivors for staying in one place for too long. Her acid is especially effective in narrow corridors, small rooms, and high-traffic areas where survivors are forced to funnel through. Her spit deals escalating damage over time, making it one of the deadliest non-instantaneous attacks in the game. The acid initially deals 2 damage per tick, but this increases the longer a survivor stands in it. A survivor standing in the center of a fully spread acid pool can take up to 48 damage per second on expert difficulty, making it one of the fastest ways to incapacitate a player. She has a relatively short cooldown between spits, making her an excellent tool for continuous area control. Her acid also has specific interactions with game objects. It can destroy gas cans, propane tanks, and other explosives, making certain event-based objectives much harder for survivors. The Spitter is particularly effective on the finale of the Dead Center campaign. If you guys haven't played the Dead Center campaign, essentially the idea is you have to collect either 8 or 13 gas cans to fill up a race car and escape the map. For obvious reasons, the Spitter is pretty great at stopping any type of progress. Most survivor teams while on Dead Center won't actually walk each individual gas can down to the objective, they'll lob them off of the 3rd or 2nd story in a pile, and using the Spitter you can actually destroy each and every one of those, which resets them to their initial spawn points. One of her greatest strengths is synergy with other special infected. A well-timed spit can turn a simple Hunter Pounce, Charger Slam, or Jockey Ride into a near-instant incap. Survivors who are pinned or trapped in a confined space will suffer severe damage from the lingering acid, forcing teammates to act relatively quickly. Despite her strength, the Spitter is one of the most fragile special infected, with only 100 health on all difficulties. She is best played as a hit-and-run attacker, staying at a distance and launching her acid before retreating. Now, you may be wondering, what could possibly lead to someone becoming this disgusting, acidic monstrosity, and how does she fit into the Green Flu strategy? We have some lore to go on for the Spitter, which might actually be a first. One theory I've seen is that the Spitter was a woman in late-stage pregnancy, which led to an overproduction of hormones in her stomach region. This could also explain the sac or bolus that appears to store the acid. However, Valve wanted to make it incredibly clear that this was not the case. The quote from Valve itself reads as seen in concept art, the Spitter's pigtails originally were not tucked behind her head, but stuck out like antennae. The Spitter also had a large rounded stomach to give her a logical place to brew her acidic goo. However, during playtesting it became apparent that many playtesters thought she was pregnant, or called her pregnancy-themed names. Valve decided that this was rocky territory and made her stomach flatter to avoid any confusion. A second theory, and the more applicable of the two in my opinion, is that she was a severe alcoholic in life. We've already established that the overconsumption of alcohol, such as in the Boomer, leads to the overproduction of bile. And it's not far-fetched to assume the Spitter would suffer similar mutations in accordance with her lifestyle choices as a human. While Left 4 Dead 2 never confirms what kind of person mutates into a Spitter, one possible explanation is excessive alcohol consumption. Long-term alcoholism can severely damage the esophagus and stomach, leading to conditions like megaesophagus, acid reflux disease, and even esophageal erosion, all of which could explain the Spitter's grotesque appearance. Her constant hacking and gurgling could be the result of an enlarged, damaged esophagus, struggling to contain the acid flooding her system. The bloated stomach and eroded mouth suggest she might have had pre-existing digestive issues before infection, making her more susceptible to a mutation that forces her body to overproduce corrosive fluid. Even her unsteady, stumbling gait could be linked to alcoholic neuropathy, a condition that affects motor control due to nerve damage. Given how the infection mutates individuals based on their habits, like the smoker being a heavy smoker, or the boomer's obesity influencing its form, it is entirely possible that chronic alcohol abuse played a role in the creation of the Spitter. Now that we've discussed how someone might become a spitter, it's important to discuss what strategic value they could add to the green flu as a whole. I've previously mentioned this theory in my video covering the green flu's possible sentience, but my personal theory is that the spitter was created as a haphazard response to emergency protective suits and PPE that federal officials were wearing during the initial stages of the outbreak. It's clear that her acid dissolves the flesh of living individuals, but I believe it's highly likely that it could also dissolve the plastic in hazmat suits, gas masks, and other protective gear. We've seen that it excels at dissolving gas cans in the Left 4 Dead universe, so it's not unlikely that other types of plastic would also fall victim to its high acidic content. This would provide a relatively easy avenue for the infection to spread to even the most protected individuals. Judging by the massive and incredibly fast adaptability of the green flu, it's also possible that the acid itself could have surviving pathogens in it, meaning that if someone were hit by it, it would dissolve not only their hazmat suit, but their body's first line of defense being the skin, and then allow the pathogen to enter the bloodstream unchecked. At first glance, the spitter might appear to be just another no camping warning in Left 4 Dead 2, but take a deeper look and she's far more than that. She's a walking biohazard, a perfect embodiment of the virus's ability to dismantle human defenses, whether it's forcing survivors out of choke points or corroding even the most protective hazmat suits. Her grotesque design, unsettling sound design, and devastating impact on gameplay make her one of the most unforgettable special infected in the game. The spitter doesn't just punish bad positioning, she forces survivors into constant motion, turning every moment into a high-stakes gamble. In tight situations, she seamlessly works with other special infected to turn a manageable battle into a full-on catastrophe. So, next time you're tucked into a corner, you might not want to swallow what the spitter gives you, but either way, you're in for a pretty bad time.